Hello, Creatively Fit Coaching family. This is Whitney, and I wanted to share with you images and commentary from my trip to Nepal. It was magical. It was an adventure. It had a little bit of everything. The land there is so magical and also so simple. And I was blown away by the aesthetics and the colors. And Pooja, right here, is the woman who inspired the entire trip when she shared with me that she wanted to bring the spirit of creativity and innovation and entrepreneurship to her country to give the youth hope that they could create the future that they wanted in Nepal without having to leave. I was daily bombarded with the kindness. This is the man I bought the art supplies from, and the juxtaposition between the modern and the old. Everywhere is the sacred, and everywhere is kindness and openness and compassion. And at Creativeness Fest, we celebrated the spirit with 110, mostly youth from all over Nepal, mostly from Kathmandu. A lot of them were students. There were also adults, professionals, but they were all excited to learn and process in a different way. So the main project that I brought to Creativeness Fest was what I ended up calling the container of energy. So this was very super soul flow style. And after they did Pooja's passion test and they identified their biggest passions, I assigned 12 different energies like fun and self-love and kindness and nature to each of the canvases. And then one person from the audience each was the one to make the mark on the canvas. This is Vic Nisvari from Singapore, one of our coaches who came to help me and to have a blast. Everybody loved Vicky. And an unexpected part of this experience, of course, was when the owners of the venue said, paint the Buddha there. And they gave me a wall of this commercial retail space that's right in the center of all the action to paint this huge Buddha. And you guys, it scared me at first, so I knew I had to do it. It took me about 3.5 hours because I was just so scared to even stop. These are two women who are also facilitators who do acro yoga and aerial arts performing in front of the Buddha. It was amazing, and I'm so completely grateful that we got to I got to leave a part. This is a man from India who just showed up with a Buddha shirt on, and I thought he'd been there the whole time. And he's just saying how much he loved the artwork. So this is what the container of energy looked like at the end. And I encourage people at the very end of the event to walk into the container of energy and stand in front of each painting and feel it. This is a group that all worked together at a business that all said their lives were changed. If you guys just see the hugs and the connection going on, this is everybody kind of saying goodbye at the very end of Creativeness Fest. Tears were shed, new friends were made. It was an incredible, absolutely incredible experience. So nobody wanted it to end. Nobody wanted to leave. It was incredible. And that night we celebrated. We were out in Tamil, which is kind of a famous neighborhood, and then up early the next morning with seriously 2 hours of sleep, as you can tell from my eyes there, to take this mountain flight. You had to get up into the air to see the mountains from Kathmandu. You can't see them because of the air pollution. They are magnificent. And then we left about 4 hours later on the Creativeness trek to go see Nepal and visit schools. And it was hardcore. We were road warriors. There's so much dust and pollution that you really had to have a scarf over your face. But once we got out into the countryside, you guys look at that. It was lush, and these villages, you know, they grew everything that they needed. And this was the first school that we visited way up a mountain. It was 3 hours down a dirt road and up a mountain. And look at the smiles on these kids' faces. This is a village where they lost everything. It was at the epicenter of the earthquake, and so all of their houses fell, every single structure. I think they said there were 23 people that died in that in the earthquake, just in that village. So we created this sign for their school, and as you can tell, they were super excited. And then we got in the car again and drove just about 30 minutes up the mountain to another school that was literally perched on the top, and they had been waiting out in the sun for us with the flower malas, and we just painted on this one big canvas while Jade and the other woman, Rachel, danced and moved with them. They were really hesitant to paint, but that one boy in the middle that you see painting the most right there in the middle, he's painting a Buddha. He had painted on the sheds in the village, and I left him with our extra paint and some brushes and the canvas, and hopefully he is still painting on that canvas. They had a blast once they got into it. And so, really, we were only at these schools for a couple hours. It would have been lovely to spend more time. And the intention is that we planted some seeds and that we'll be back. Creativeness Fest is happening again next year. So any of you who want to come with me, please let me know. This was stopping in a village, and we were trying to get that baby to stop crying. So this was the first day. I don't know, this is like day 8 or 9 in Nepal, and this was our first day of rest in Pokhara. And then the next day we went to Dhampus, where we visited another school. And look, we did soul scribbles and did some movement and meditation and dance, and then again painted on a canvas that I left with them to create a huge mandala. So in the end, it had the fun background and a mandala. The next day, Harpal, that's Harpal Dot, and I took a boat and the uphill path to the Buddhist stupa. Everywhere you look, there are symbols and imagery and that sacred space. Then the rest of the people, women left. Harpal and Jade and Rachel left, and I was alone and set out on my trek. I did hire a guide because I was told many different ways to not trek alone, and it was an amazing experience. You literally follow this stone pathway up into villages where the only way to access these villages is from these paths. There were prayer flags everywhere. I stayed in guest houses in Yam. That's my guide, helped to arrange everything. So this is up near Poon Hill, which is the tallest spot. So we got up really early there in Gorapani to see the sunrise over the Himalayas. And this is the Annapurna range of the Himalayas on the northern side of Nepal. The donkeys are like the semi-trucks of this area. So this was the day that I experienced the stomach and the aches and the pains and the digestive issues, and I felt horrible. But you guys, it was the most magical day ever. The mountains, the rhododendrons, the views were incredible. And by the time we got to Tadapani there that night, I just got horizontal. I was so sick, but it was also an amazing day because I was able to experience being so physically ill, but from within, just experiencing this bliss. The last full day of the trek, I got to the Sayuli Bazaar early and spent all afternoon communing with the Koli Moda River. And then on the hike down, that's a paper where they make paper. And so there I am back where the trek began. I spent a couple days in Pokhara, and then I went back to Kathmandu where I visited with friends that I'd made at Creativeness Fest, went to the Outdoor Himalayan Festival, and then stayed with a family that is the family of a friend in Portland and visited these sacred sites in Kathmandu. This man is the first contemporary artist of Nepal. I wore my first sari to a family wedding, and made all kinds of friends. So thank you for sharing, and I hope you come with me next year. Bye, everyone.